Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode. I'm so excited to introduce you to Airlie Wedemeyer. She is the founder and inventor and CEO of My Period Pal. And she invented these bands that you put around your foot and they give you relief from period pain. But I let Airlie explain it better. So welcome to this week's episode. I'm so happy to have you and I'm excited for you to be here, and please share how you came up with your invention.
Hey, yeah, the pleasure's all mine. Thank you so much for having me on here. It's such an honor. So I invented My Period Pal before it was My Period Pal. I was living in the Philippine Islands, and there the pain medication is very scarce, but reflexology is very prevalent. So I was having period pain after I had given birth from my son, to my son. My period pain got so much worse than it was before. And some of my colleagues, they just kind of told me about the uterus reflex, which is on the inner ankle. Mm-hmm. And when I did press it, all of my period pain went away, my lower back pain, my inner thigh pain, my cramping. And then I was just dedicated to putting together a device to keep that pressure applied.
Wow, that's amazing. So for everyone who, I'm not sure if everyone is familiar with reflexology, can you explain a little bit more how exactly it works and how it can help with period pain?
Sure. So reflexology is basically the theory that all of the nerve endings from your organs or systems end up in either your hands, your ears, or your feet. So the uterus reflex is on the inner ankle. And it's basically, so if we have a model like this, it's right here behind where this pressure is. Mm-hmm. And so with a lot of things over time, there's like crystals and buildup actually builds up on those nerve endings over time. And by massaging or applying pressure, it's going to break those crystals up, and then it's going to result in better organ function.
That's so amazing. I feel like if you look at, how often women have to suffer throughout the year because of their periods. And I'm going to look at my notes because I just read this article where it said about 80% of women reported to be less productive at school and work, and to miss an average of 9 days because of period pain. I mean, it's mind-boggling.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Period pain is the #1 reason for missed school and work in the entire world. And 81% is a pretty low number, I would say. I don't know of any woman who has not missed a family function or work or school or just days out of your life in general to period pain. I mean, even if you're there, are you really there when you're in that kind of pain? So, I mean, the bigger, even the bigger aspect of that really is, in my personal opinion, as being a woman, I feel like I can do that, but is gender disparity. Really. I mean, it comes down to the fact that we don't have the same opportunities. We are missing that time. We are missing that work. We are missing those family times. And it is a gender disparity issue in my opinion.
Oh, I totally agree. And then there's probably the taboo around it, and women don't want to consider it as being sick and having some kind of sickness, and that's why they have to miss work. So totally.
Yeah, I fully agree.
Yeah. And then I want to talk a little bit, what fascinates me about this period pal band is if you look at, the alternative, which is pain meds and a lot of times birth control, like from my own experience, there's so many side effects.
Yes.
I feel like especially the emotional side effects of birth control are just, tremendous. So have you experienced or in your like feedback from women, is there any kind of side effects with these bands and reflexology? Or I can't really think of any, but
Yeah, I mean, even the FDA says that the only side effect from reflexology could be occasional lightheadedness. So and with anything, I mean, it is an overwhelming therapy. Reflexology is. Afterwards, you will feel more energized. It does have a lot of great benefits, but and then when you do feel better, and it is so natural, and you do have your blood flowing, and it's you can, I suppose, get lightheaded. I've never had that report before, but no, really, just women are really talking about the difference it makes in their life. I have women who were taking an entire bottle of ibuprofen before they started my product. I have women who didn't go anywhere without their heating pads, which are also not good for me.
oh, I remember these days.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, with that electromagnetic radiation, and anything that produces heat is going to have a lot of excess waste when it comes to things like radiation. But yeah, it's just it's really rewarding, though, all of the women who report back to me, and it really is a community, because when the women they start with my period pal, and then they start following me on Instagram, and they start tagging me in their stories, and it really is a really great and supportive community.
Oh, I bet, because we are all in the same boat, right? We are all dealing with this, and we are all trying to find a long-term solution.
Mm-hmm.
And so does it work like immediately? You put it on, like how soon do you feel relief?
I myself have been obviously the longest tester of it. I get relief within 15 seconds.
Oh, wow.
Most reported for me is under 10 minutes for new users. Almost every single woman, if you read the Google reviews, and you go to my Instagram and look at the Happy Ladies tab, if somebody tags me, I automatically put them in that highlight, Happy Ladies. And that'll just speak volumes in itself. But most reported is anywhere from 2 to 10 minutes, but it can be sooner. Like, reflexology is cumulative, so the effects are going to always get better with time.
And you know what I love about it the most? I feel like that's the best alternative for younger girls.
Yes.
Because as we know, girls are getting younger and younger to start their
Yes.
period, and you don't
Yes.
want to put them on neither medication nor birth control at a young age. So that sounds like an amazing alternative for them, especially.
You're absolutely right. And it's just, doctors are doing what they were taught in medical school, right? But the amount of women who go to the doctor and complain about period pain, and they come out of it with birth control or 800 milligram ibuprofen, or, I mean, that's, if they don't just get the shrug off, like, well, you just have to deal with it, right? But I mean, I've really found that the medical community, in my opinion, is really coming around. I mean, my period pal is sold in pelvic therapy clinics and dietitians' offices, naturopathic doctors' offices nationwide, because it really is the only defense against period pain that is non-chemical, and that a doctor can really say, this helps.
Yeah, it's amazing. How much is a band, and how long can you use it for?
Yeah, so the bands are actually sold in pairs. So when you buy, when you have one purchase of my period pal, you're going to contain 2 bands, a right and a left. I do recommend wearing both of them at first. It's really going to knock out the pain. And then as it gets less and less, wearing one could be fine. Most people just wear 2, though. And you can wear them for years. I've had the same pair. It's my husband was making fun of me, but I have not updated my pair since my first production run came through. So, but there's really no need for me to. But so I'm still wearing my pair from my first production run, which has been, 2 years ago now. So if you take care of them, then you can keep them for years and years.
Yeah, so I want to find out a little more. So I know you invented them, which is amazing in itself, but how did you go about having like mass production done? How did you find, like, how did that whole journey go? Where are they made? How did you find suppliers? Like, how did it all go down?
Oh, I don't think there's ever going to be enough time on any podcast to tell about that. But yeah, so goodness. Well, they are made in China. I went for a while where they were made in America, and it just did not work out. The lead times were just so much longer. The cost was about the same, actually. I didn't find that cost was a humongous issue in American manufacturing, actually. But yeah, with the volume I needed, it had to go to China. And I was upset about that. I still have some that are made in North Carolina, the ones that I use for samples. When I give out samples to a doctor's office, all of those are made in America. So I do American when I can, right? But yeah, they're made in China. And I found them off of Alibaba, and it did take about going in around, I probably dealt with about 10 suppliers before I finally came to one that I really vibed with. And their English was really good, and their lead times were good, and their quality was impeccable. So months and months of back and forth with the manufacturers with sample and quality and things like that. But yeah, then there's little things to worry about, like tags, right? Because all of that's not going to be done in the same factory. So tags, neoprene, silicone knobs, and then of course the actual sewing. So it's quite a journey, I would say.
What is your background? I mean, it sounds like a huge deal to start from scratch. And how did you do this all?
Yeah, so I have 3 degrees, and business isn't one of them. I'm always very, very upfront about that. So all of this was a learning curve for me. I used a lot of really great resources, SBTDC, SCORE. I wrote grants. So up until the first run, everything was paid for by me writing and winning grants from the state of North Carolina, NC IDEA, and Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. But yeah, my background is in none of that, so it was all a learning curve. But I was an international educator, which is why I was living in the Philippines to begin with. I was teaching at a Korean school in the Philippines, and so.
And you had your baby there.
I did, yes. Had my son Jack there. Yeah.
Yeah, this is really, really cool and inspiring. I mean, so from the idea back then in the Philippines until now, it's all your own.
Yeah, it's all a
accomplishment.
huge learning process. It's funny that it all started like that, with just this small idea and this small little concept. And then the more I was learning, I was like, why hasn't this been done yet? They have a device for everything. Why?
Yeah, it's such
yet?
a,
And
yes.
yeah. So I kind of just thought it was, I just sort of thought it was my my due diligence to the female community to put it out there. And I just kept trying and kept trucking, and I've been through a lot of ups and way downs with it, but I stick to it, and it's been really good so far.
Yeah, great. I mean, it must be such a rewarding work and, accomplishment to are where you are now, from having that idea a couple of years ago to now selling these bands everywhere.
Yeah, it really is. Sometimes I just have to pinch myself and I think, oof, is this really happening? And but it is. And I wouldn't take much back. I got to tell you that. There's a few shortcuts I would take.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. There's definitely a few shortcuts I would take, but I wouldn't take any of it back, though. It's been a really, really rewarding journey. And I have to say that And that really comes from the women though. When I started my Instagram, I didn't have a personal Instagram before, but I started it for my business, and really the women just came to me, little by little. They would sort of test the waters, they would follow me, and then they would purchase. And then when they would get the first use with it, they would just be so excited. They would post a story about it and tag me. And then other women did the same thing. And then I would have giveaways. And so, and that got even more women talking about it. And now it's just this really awesome community. And I don't even feel like I sell a product. I feel like I build a community, and I provide something for, a service.
That's so wonderful. I literally have 4% of male listeners is my audience.
Yeah.
So it's 96% female. So I'm so glad to have you on today, because I feel like this is something that concerns all of us. So if anyone is interested in ordering My Period Pal bands, so what's the easiest way to go about?
The website, myperiodpal.com. You could go to my Instagram if you just want to follow me for a while and see what I'm all about. I'd love that as well. I'd just say, I don't know. I mean, they're in doctor's offices pretty much everywhere, but not that prevalent yet. So you can ask your doctor about it if you want to, but the best way to get it is myperiodpal.com, or follow me on Instagram.
Easy enough. Yeah, I'm sure we're gonna spread the word. I'm gonna put it in the show notes, and I think this is gonna be revolutionary.
And I got a coupon code for your listeners.
Awesome.
Step into flow. Step into flow is our coupon code. Just
easy.
all one word, step into flow, and it'll give you a discount and free shipping.
Oh, perfect. That's really, thank you so much. Really,
of course, you're very welcome.
I'm make sure I order mine too, because I can't wait now to try it out. Yeah, so thank you for sharing this information. I really appreciate you taking the time and coming on here today.
No, thank you so much for having me. It was my pleasure.
All right, thank you.
Bye.